show host David Letterman has his top 10 list, and actors Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman have their bucket lists. Well, I have my grateful list. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Tonight, I'm going to tell you about my grateful list. Now, the list is long, and it would take me hours to cover every item on that special list. But I know I only have a few minutes, so I'm going to share just a few of my favorites. I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and yes, I'm a Steelers fan, and I'm the youngest of 8 kids. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. My parents, Paul Joseph Leslie and Margaret Mary McCarthy, the good Irish Catholics that they are, will be celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary this month. And you better believe that every one of us 8 kids are going to be there to celebrate. This is going to sound a little corny, but for as long as I can remember, our family refers to ourselves as the team. And I think that's because teams take care of each other. Our team roster has grown from 10 to 36, with all the spouses and nieces and nephews. My fondest childhood memories, they have to do with Thanksgiving, because a few days before Thanksgiving, my older siblings would be returning from college, and the house would truly come alive with visitors, friends, family, cousins, etc. On Thanksgiving Day, when all of us were sleeping, because we'd been up late the night before, catching up with loved ones, my mom was up early. She was preparing a feast. In our basement, we had a ping pong table, and it was covered with slices of bread. It was my job to flip those slices of bread over at just the right time to achieve just the right dryness so that my mom could use that bread for her homemade stuffing. I hope you can see why family is near the top of my grateful list, followed closely by opportunities. For reasons I will never know, I was fortunate to be selected among thousands of applicants to receive an appointment to the U.S. Naval Academy. So 1 month after my high school graduation, I found myself in Annapolis, Maryland, donning my first Navy uniform, raising my right hand, and swearing an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And my opportunities didn't end there. 4 years later, I graduated with a computer science degree and a commission as a naval officer. And then I proceeded to have some wonderful assignments where I could live and serve in Florida, in Hawaii, and Virginia, and England, and Bahrain. I even had 2 years in scenic Monterey, California, where I studied space systems operations at the Naval Postgraduate School. I'll never forget the experience of deploying with 4,000 other sailors and Marines on the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise. But my favorite and the highlight of my military career was having the privilege to serve as the commanding officer of a naval computer and telecommunications station in the Middle East, where every day I was inspired by those men and women and their commitment to carry out that mission. I'm able to continue to serve, thankfully, another opportunity, but this time in civilian clothes, because I work at the U.S. Special Operations Command at MacDill. So, as if a wonderful family and exciting opportunities wasn't enough, the top of my grateful list is God's creation. The Bible starts with Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. And it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." In my life, I have moments where heaven has come down to earth. And those are usually the opportunities where I'm in the outdoors. I love to hike and camp and kayak. And so for me, heaven is on earth during those times. A lot of people like to vacation in big cities. There's a lot of entertainment in big cities, right? Museums and nightclubs and fancy restaurants. But my idea of the perfect vacation is a meal by a campfire, listening to the concert of nature, and falling asleep under the stars. One summer, I traveled all over the United States, visiting as many national parks as I could in 30 days. And I remember one morning waking up in Yosemite National Park. As I unzipped my tent and folded back the flap to greet the day, there was a buffalo walking right by my tent. My favorite vacation, though, was when I backpacked 12 miles deep into the Sequoia National Park. And for 5 days, I just relished the beauty of nature. There were acres of wildflowers and pristine lakes, and I can't even describe those mountain vistas. My life isn't perfect by any means. I have plenty of heartache and disappointments. But when I think about all the things that I'm grateful for, like I said, that grateful list is long. David Letterman, he can have his top 10 lists, and Hollywood can promote the bucket lists. But for me, a loving family, limitless opportunities, and the miracle of God's creation, that's my grateful list. What's on yours, Mr. Toastmaster?